Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hi, DL Podcast welcomes Ravleen Sethi, Director of CareEdge, for her views on cement sector outlook for 2025. So we'll start with your outlook on cement demand for next year, and also how 2024 was for the cement sector as a whole.
Sure. Thanks, Suresh. Yeah. So, cement run has been good till fiscal of 24. Consecutively, the sector saw demand growing by 9% for 2 years. Obviously, there was a lot of pre-election run where, we generally see a trend over many years that cement registers a good demand. However, this year, which is fiscal of 25, many factors have impacted cement demand, like delayed infra activities, general elections, above average monsoon, flooding, heat wave, construction bans. So earlier, we still had an expectation of the year to close by a low single digit, which is 4 to 5%. But now, since demand has not really picked up till November end, and it's only like we are in December, which is almost closing. So the last quarter push may only lead to a total incremental demand of a 2 to 3% on a year-to-year basis, which is significantly low. But still, from a long-term growth horizon, if you say beyond 25, because there were many reasons, specifically being an election year. So in 26 also, we expect that the cement sector would continue to be in a zip code of 1 to 1.2 times of GDP growing. So that is our long-term outlook.
And how do you see prices panning out, given the sluggish demand?
Sure. So prices, if you actually see, there were 2 good years, and then, despite taking price hikes in 23 for fiscal, where probably the power and fuel costs were significantly high for these players. So that time prices did rise, but fiscal of 24, prices have been flat. And this year, prices have been low. So year on year, we are low by 2 to 3%. And fiscal of 25 will exit at a realization and at a NSR, which is 2 to 3% lower only than the last year. And the main reason has been the sluggish demand over here. So even if the players have been trying to take price hikes, they did even try in December this time, but again, there were rollbacks. So last quarter only may see some hike, and that also, if you ask me, will only make good the loss, which, the quarter 2 and quarter 3 had already shown. So basically, from a year-to-year perspective, NSRs would decline in 25 by 2 to 3%. But 26, if the demand upticks, then obviously we can see some hikes in quarter 1 happening.
Well, what do you think will push up demand in FY26, given the lower spend by the government?
But if you actually see, one is, the same government has been voted back. Okay, so if we see from their the long-term perspective, the national infrastructure pipeline which was announced, the corridors, the Gati Shakti, the Bharat Mala, the airport development, it kind of, it is a reiteration of probably what was running on the agenda. And with that same agenda, we have seen cement growing, every year by close to 8 to 9% in the last 2 to 3 years post-COVID that I just spoke of, barring 25, which will be probably a year of a low digit growth. So with all those projects and with infra taking a higher share, and obviously with, the real estate and the low-cost housing remaining the bedrock, which is also growing. So from those perspectives, we see once the government spending starts happening on the ground, probably 26 and 27 would register somewhere near to what GDP growth rate would be, or a little higher.
Yeah, and one last.
May not significantly increase. Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, one last question on how do you see operational costs panning out? Given the rupee depreciation and other factors, how do you see operational costs for cement companies?
Operational costs for cement companies in the last 2 years, if we actually see, there has been a lot of volatility. Okay, we've seen the year of 23, specifically. And 24, even there was some tapering, but people were already carrying a high cost inventory. Here, I would say multiple things play out. Obviously, how the pet coke and coal would kind of behave given the macroeconomic, One really cannot take a guess because nobody thought through ever that in 23 also, the prices would be that skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Right now, coal and pet coke are somewhere in the $100 range, but year on year, yes, the cost has come down close to 15-20%, and that is what is helping cement players to kind of not drop the EBITDA per ton significantly because prices are down, okay, because demand is not picking up. So cost has kind of filled the extra loss in EBITDA per ton to some extent in 25. But in parallelly, what they are also doing is they are increasing their share of the green mix, wherein, they are bringing up capacities of solar and WHRS and trying to, kind of I would say reduce the volatility which is happening in the fuel cost because of the petcoke and coal. So somewhere from the leading cement players, if you actually see their share of the green energy today is 30% or 40%, and they have a goal of, going to a little higher, or even a normal average medium player maybe having, close to 25 or 25% coming from the green energy. So they are trying to capture some volatility by increasing the green share. But yes, this kind of no immediate impact is what we can say for 25. But looking at the geopolitical things, one really cannot say a thing because if the global consumption goes further down or if something happens geopolitically and it impacts the coal and petcoke prices, then probably it is to be seen.
Okay. Thanks, and thanks for your views. Thanks for joining BL podcast. Thanks.
Sure. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye-bye.